Well, with that being said, all in favor of 5C, the new oil policy updates, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion carries. Okay, under 5, new business, we've got D, the DCSC truck and accessories purchase for the bus mechanic for $58,522. Can I get a motion on that?
I move that we approve the purchase of the truck, snowplow, and truck topper as listed. Second.
All right. Any discussion on that? I know we've got a lot of information prior to the meeting on what this purchase is for.
I think a lot of it was answered.
Okay. Is there any question on any missing items? In agreement with what we've got going forward for that truck?
Does this have transportation fund?
We have a line item for purchasing of vehicles, and we'll go ahead and take some from the bus.
The truck will come out caps or not, out of capital projects. The truck will come out
Yeah.
caps, the snowplow will come out of capital project also, or is that out of the bus?
Well, we actually have line items for a vehicle, and it was on our capital projects.
But it is coming out of our capital project, right,
I mean, it's,
and the plow and the topper boat.
yeah, well,
Okay.
some of it, I think we have extra money in the bus, purchase,
Right.
so we're using that as well.
Any other questions or comments? Okay. All in favor of 5D, the DCSC truck and accessory purchase for the bus mechanic for $58,522, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, moving forward, new business. 5E, the manufacturing safety cage for robotics, the RDC, $12,263. I believe this is coming out of the 2021 bond, is that correct, Emery?
Yes. Did you,
Can I get a motion on 5E?
I move to, purchase the safety cage for our robotics, class, there at the RDC for $12,263 coming out of the 2021 bond.
Any discussion on that?
Who's installing it?
the RDC, which is the Robert Dietrich Company, is coming in, Tony Meats.
So that price includes installation,
Yeah.
that's the whole bundle.
Yeah, and also, we've got, installation we can do some of the stuff too, I think we've got plans for the kids stuff as well. I think, also, Mr. Norris, Mrs. Kirkland's husband is actually going to help as well.
So we have 2 robots, is that for both of them or one at this time?
No, it's supposed to go around all of them.
It's to surround everything. It's a safety issue, obviously, so, Mr. Allen put together some prices. Some of our kids are gonna do some of the stuff, with him, and the rest of it's gonna be done as Mr. Circle said. So it's a matter of keeping guys like me who don't know what I'm doing from getting into an area where I shouldn't be. So that's kind of what it's all about, and, it's all safety stuff.
It's a proximity.
Yep.
Any other discussion? Okay, all in favor of the manufacturing safety cage for $12,263, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion carries. New business 5F, we have the industrial manufacturing CTE trainers power upgrade. This is by Brand Electric for $35,400. And I also believe this is being used out of the 2021 bond. Can I get a motion?
I move we approve the industrial manufacturing CTE trainers power upgrade.
Second.
Any discussion on that? And Mrs. Circle, can you explain what that was?
That's for those robots and those trainers, we need a massive electric upgrade, and we also have to have emergency, shut-offs, so that you can immediately shut off the power. Anything else, Mr. Sims?
Yeah, so there's two things that could have happened with those. One is a simplified version, which would have allowed less power to them. This, what you're getting ready to approve, hopefully, makes them like they were setting it super. I mean, they will be full power, full operational. They will be exactly like they would be as far as going to work with super and do so. So, you know, there's two different levels we could have done electrically, and, obviously, Mr. Allen really wanted us to be able to get kids prepared to go directly to a factory and work robotically, and so that's the difference between the two. It really is. I mean, it's that simple.
I assume that there'll be a safety for the entrance with the cage, right? The
Yes.
things will have to be shut
Yes.
for it to, right, that's what this is all about, to
That's what the
complete
cage,
the,
that's what the cage is enclosing, are these two robotic arms.
I guess speaking of safety in cages and all that, I think this would probably pertain to the diesel mechanics and the robotics. We have our policies set for student safety as far as clothes, eye goggles, type of shoes, all that stuff. Is that being taken care of? Has that been taken care of?
No, actually, Steve, that's a great question. Mr. Allen and I just had a discussion about moving forward next year, what we're gonna do. Part of that is clothing, part of that is shoes, and so we're gonna go through the steps of getting to that point where, all the material that's needed is taken care of one way or the other. So that will include safety toes, the whole deal.
I mean, I've seen a picture tonight of a kid on top of a bus.
Yeah.
with no support harness.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Same.
And I think that's all part of the process we're going through right now. And so hopefully, you know, especially with advanced manufacturing and what we're going through there, we're gonna go step by step and make sure it's all OSHA approved and make sure we're doing what needs to be done.
I would suggest maybe we get with tomorrow's too about maybe doing some
Already done.
sponsorships for our kids.
Oh, great point. Jack's already reached out to them, so we're kind of waiting on them to respond to us, so, yeah, thanks.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Okay, all in favor of 5F, the industrial manufacturing CTE trainers power upgrade for $35,400? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Alright, motion carries. Okay, 5G, we have the Kroll fixed assets, $13,000 from the operations fund. Can I get a motion for that?
Mr. President, I move to, have, employee Kroll to, update our fixed assets, is that right? For $13,000, dollars out of the operations fund.
And then, do you have any extra input on that?
Other than they are working with us annually to do our fixed asset accounting report, which is now required to submit. And then also looking at the property insurance appraisal and students. So,
Any other?
Just a question, is this an annual? I feel like we talked about this last year.
Yeah, they started requiring us to do depreciation, to report that to the state, so they have to come every year now and do it. And we're just trying to do it a little bit earlier, so we actually get the information back to the reports.
Okay, thanks.
Is that something came out of our audit, right?
So they do multi-year agreements and give discounts?
can check with them.
Is that against their insurance rate?
I don't know, that's like all our appreciation, that's all of that. I mean, you go through the entire,
It's having lists or something happens.
which I think I put in the last board agenda, I think we gave you the entire report on it, so if you want another copy of that, it is huge.
Okay. All in favor of using Kroll for the fixed assets of $13,000, out of the operation fund, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Alright, motion carries. Okay, moving on to 5H, bus purchase. This is 2 buses, they're Thomas buses that total $240,250, which is $120,125 for each bus. Can I get a motion?
Mr. President, I move to purchase 2 buses from Thomas for a total of $240,250.
Okay, any questions or comments on the bus purchases?
I'm just curious, I think I know the answer, but this now includes all the accessories. We have cameras, extra stop arm, all that stuff now is just standard in these bus purchases, right?
On the stop arm.
I couldn't see across the, sorry, I'm looking at somebody that's not there,
Yeah, I was gonna say.
so,
He went down to the auction, I think.
yeah.
These were planned purchases for this year.
Yeah, we actually, did an intent to purchase.
Part of our plan to get up to date.
On the invoice, it says 2 buses for Kerwin bus sale, but right next to that says quantity 1.
Or-
They come in a package too.
Sure, they come with that?
Yeah.
They sell them in pairs now.
Oh, yeah, but we're buying 2 of them.
There's
We're
2
purchasing
purchase orders.
Yeah.
Just 2 purchase orders and behind purchase orders.
Oh, good. On the top page, it just said quantity 1.
Yeah.
To the office.
Yeah, sorry,
One purchase order.
yeah.
Okay, all in favor of the bus purchases for $240,250, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Alright, motion carries. 5I, we have bus supplies, interstate billing services, which is Weirs, for a total of $5,677.32. I'll get a motion for the bus supplies.
So moved.
Second.
Any input on supplies?
Are those out of the accessories? Cause I'm looking here through this, and I don't see anything in here about cameras or anything in this other estimate.
I don't know that we've ever paid for cameras and anything on any of these buses.
I think that's just for a bus repair.
No,
With Weir?
I don't think it has anything to do with these buses that
Yeah, I
we're
know.
buying.
Well, unless they're buying it through Weirs,
but are we
like
going back?
installing
you
the
asked
cameras on the arms.
back
But
to
Kerwin
buses?
does that with purchase.
I think,
Well,
yeah,
it
I
should
think
be.
he was talking about on the new buses.
I think he's on the new buses.
He's still talking about the
I
new
think
buses?
Mr. Nipple, you're talking about the new buses, correct?
Yeah. Haven't seen anything here.
I know, we've never.
But where's his
I've never-
repairs, right?
The last bus we installed.
It just says bus supplies.
Yeah.
So we're discussing a charge for a bus repair.
That's the Weirs charge, is a bus repair.
Okay.
Yeah, Weirs has nothing to do with the new buses.
I think,
Motion right now has nothing to do with the new buses, that 5,000.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
What is the supplies or?
yeah,
You have a thing of what it actually is.
Yeah, we've got a list of supplies here.
It's
The
repair, it's
turbo
repair.
kit on
in there,
here,
yeah.
board, another turbo kit,
This was all
These are, yeah, these are all, these are kids and repair items that we purchased, looks like through Weir's, just for the bus. Yes.
Turbo kit for, just a couple cores for,
Yeah,
boost
there's no work,
solenoid, so its repairs actually speed much.
no
It's
work,
just supplies.
yeah, no work actually.
And honestly, Henry does a really good job of, trying to research, he even buys a lot of stuff locally. But in this case, he had to get it through the Weirs, and it was over the spending limit. He does buy several different, purchasing companies, so,
Just the best supplies, it should be
Yeah.
best repairs.
Okay, all in favor of the bus supplies from Weir's for a total of $5,677.32, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion carried. All right, down, new business, down to 5J, the softball scoreboard installation, the long-awaited installation. Can I get a motion for the softball?
Mr. President, I would move that we accept the bid from Skyline Designs for $36,950 for the installation of the softball scoreboard.
Second.
Okay, any questions or discussions on that?
Yeah, I got you. Is it here?
What's the worst case and best case scenario I see?
So this goes
I
back
see
to
two
all
prices.
these nonstop gremlins we've been chasing, right? So basically, we've talked to a bunch of different people. Some people are willing to try to do it like we did baseball with the pylons. Some people are not. So worst case, what Matt has said at Skyline is he can do the giant swimming pool of concrete that we've talked about. He can do it cheaper than anybody else to begin with. And he thinks with his expertise being local, he thinks he can still do it on the cheaper route by drilling the pylons with an auger bit, filling them in with concrete, and then going up. So he thinks he can still do it, but he won't know obviously until he starts digging. Once he starts digging, he'll be able to make the determination whether we have to put the concrete swimming pool in or whether he can continue on with 4 pylons. So if he can bore down 10 feet, or he says if he goes, I'm confident too, if we hit bedrock, that I can just put it right into there and we'll be good. But he won't know until he actually puts the bore in. So
And when will he anticipate work?
I had him on the phone for about a half hour the other day. I said, look, I'm gonna put you up. I know I'm gonna get a lot of questions. One of the first ones is, when are we gonna be done? So he said his problem is obviously in the spring, it just depends on rain and how sloppy it is there. Because that obviously then factors into the fact that the hole is not as stable and he can't get his equipment on the ground without tearing it up and all those types of things. So it really is dependent. He said, because if you told me we were doing this in July and you said, well, I have it done in a month, he says, no doubt about it. But being in March, April, it could be I get 6-7 days where I can get in and get all the work done and then we're in good shape. He goes, or it could be we get rain every 3 days and I can't get in there. So it's just kind of we don't know. I think, kind of like baseball, before the end of the season, I think is a no-brainer. But he doesn't want to obviously commit and then not be able to deliver if we got a bunch of rain. So, do we have it in before the season starts? Yes.
So best case scenario is 26.5, worst case scenario is 36.9.
Yes, and there's 13, there's from the original bid that we'd received, obviously we only released half, because we only did half the job. So there's $13,437.50 in that bond that you already approved, so really it's not, we're not approved for 30, we've already got approved for 30. Yeah, so basically, the 36,950, that'll get it done no matter what, he just doesn't know if he can get it cheaper.
So it's a kind of do not see.
Yes,
Where's this gonna be located?
left field.
Same location?
We had talked about moving it more towards center, so it's not so tucked in. Obviously, our fans will have trouble if it's clear tucked into the left. Moving it more towards center, but obviously we can't get too far, then dead center.
Kinda like the baseball scoreboard, huh?
Yes, exactly.
You don't have to look over the dugout.
Yes.
Are they doing the electrical and everything?
Yep. But that is all in place.
Any other questions or comments? Okay. All in favor of the Skyline Designs install of the softball scoreboard for worst case scenario, $36,950, or best case scenario, $26,500, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Very quickly, Ross texted me back on the buses, yes, 7 cameras on each bus, front, stop arm, 360 degrees.
Thank you.
They're just not listed on there.
Yeah.
Alright, 5K, we're gonna get to the alphabet here tonight. Can I get a motion for a 1-year license agreement for DCSC's wireless network with Integrity Network Solutions for $14,500? Any discussion on it?
What are we getting for that?
Okay, this is a license for each of the access points we have in our wireless network for the whole corporation. So 145 access points ranging across all buildings. It's basically $100 a year for each one. So that's the price. The game plan is to do 1 year. We did a 5-year last time around. These become E-rate eligible after starting this year. So basically, the game plan is to do 1 year for now, and then next year file Form 470, 471, whichever it is, and the E-rate will cover 70% of the cost of the 5-year. So we went ahead and did a 1 year for now, and then let E-rate cover the rest for 5 years starting next year is the game plan. And those licenses do transfer if we decide to upgrade to different access points themselves, the physical, as long as you say Ruckus, the license goes with the new device. So, and this just allows basically the controller to watch, and we can watch the analytics, and see what's going on in the network at any given time. It's used quite a bit when somebody says, hey, I lost my Chromebook, I can go in the network and find out where it is, based on what access point that particular one is hitting. So, it's pretty helpful for us to find it. The network will not drop when these expire, but that was one of my biggest concerns, so, in fact, they expired when we had a 60-day grace period.
Any other questions for Mr. Green? Okay. All in favor of the 1-year license agreement with Integrity Network Solutions for $14,500, say aye. Opposed? Alright, motion carries. Moving on to 5L, encompassing education, $50,000, using the ESSER 3 money. Can I get a motion on the table for that?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, looks like this will be used for to continue the RTI support for the DCSC, math support, RTI for the DCMS, and the ELA for curriculum mapping in the DCHS.
Yes, this organization was working with us the last 2 years, and they're currently working at the elementary on the RTI. It's been going great. We need to carry this now up to the middle school, so we're using the same RTI plan. Eventually we'll run to high school, so we want to continue that on. We did curriculum mapping with the English department in middle school this year with April, and they were like, this has been great, so we need to move that up to the high school. So we're going to continue that on, and math support, I would like to do the same thing. We adopted new textbooks this last year. They're brand new, so now's the time to sit down and do some curriculum mapping and make sure that we are doing that, because we need to, looking at our scores on math is definitely lower than we would like it to be, so we need to make sure that we're doing the same process we've been doing with the ELA.
The other
This is
for,
one, yeah, this is this one.
for 1 year.
Yes, which is.
Anything else? Okay, all in favor of the encompassing education, from ESER three for $50,000, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Yes, motion carries. 5M, encompassing education, so, we got another spend here out of the ESER three money for $12,600. Can I get a motion on the table for that?
Second.
Sure. This one, Mr. Sims actually approached me about getting, some instructional support help with all of our transition to teaching. We had a lot up at the high school with the CT classes, and we have a new English teacher as well. Just simple things, I mean, when you're getting teachers, educators that are coming in from the industry and they've never done lesson plans or curriculum planning or assessments. So we have a lot right now. They're doing great up at the high school, but they need that extra support so that they can get some of those education skills. So Mr. Sims asked if we could get April, who's working down with the middle school teachers doing that stuff, to help support 4 of our teachers at the high school. So I called the company, and so we will have April 1 day in February, since February is in the middle, 2 days in April, 2 days in, I missed a month, 2 days in, 1 day in March because of testing, 2 days in April, and then another day in May. But she will observe in those classes, provide support. The big thing is supporting them, because as you know, our retention level now in education is difficult, and when you add that with someone who walks into the classroom and hasn't had any of that educational background, but they're extremely good, because we have some phenomenal transition teachers up at the high school that are new, but if we don't support them and give them the skill set of how to plan lessons and assessments, all of that, we're gonna lose them. So that's our goal. Take these teachers who are doing a great job, give them some of that educational support, so that then, yes, we will still have them. I don't know if you want to add anything to that, Mr. Sims, but.
No, I mean, we've, there's a situation where I think our mentors have been doing a really good job of, you know, trying to help our new teachers as much as they can, transition to teachers in particular. I just think it was an opportunity that I was looking forward to seeing a professional come in and actually sit down with them one-on-one and give them some guidance, whether it be curriculum or classroom management or whatever it is, just another view of what was going on. And Mrs. Shiplett has done a great job of that, and our mentor teachers have done, Leslie's done a great job with some of our teachers in the CTA program that Walker has, but I just think it's another set of eyes that we really need to put on them and make them, you know, aware of what it's like to be a professional educator in a classroom. And, you know, I think it's, just something we need to do, to make sure that our team just gets better.
So, those have been, talked with and okayed by the, union in case, because when you have mentoring, you're gonna have potential evaluation of people coming to you and saying this needs to maybe help change and things like that, that make sure that there's no, lines, because these people cannot evaluate, right?
Support.
I know, but that, again, we took, something was said about evaluation and how they're doing. Again, I just want that clear out here, that everything, these, people will not be evaluating, these teachers. That will fall back onto the responsibility of the admin, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Just for the public record.
Yeah, correct.
investing in new teachers. Do you require any type of service, or can we rent? Do you require, we're investing in new teachers to help them. Do we require anything in the contract saying you have to stay for X amount of time?
I think you could, it's just a matter of whether anybody would be willing to commit to it.
Plus, that'd have to be something we have to go through the union as we negotiate, right, because that's gonna be a contract.
Right.
And, but I agree, Steve, I mean, it's too easy for,
I mean, you spend
Your employment,
$1,200 that can leave next year and go to,
yeah,
a month.
your employment, my employment, we have to pay back if they support things, so, yeah, I understand. But it's something I think we need to talk about, definitely.
I think it's a trend that's gonna continue to happen, where we have more teachers joining, public education that are, you know, transition to teaching, and that's not a bad thing. But at the same time, I think it's something that we need to support and try to support. I understand exactly what Steve's saying.
But we've gotta continue to invest. I mean, these are brand new people, this is a total investment. And, you know, we're gonna be low on teachers, and we just gotta keep getting them where they need to be.
Yeah, I agree. You know, and we really have surrounded them with some really good people. So I hope that they enjoy Delphi Community High School and continue to be a part of it, but obviously there's never a guarantee.
Can I add, I think all four of them live in the community,
Yeah,
so
Correct.
it's all people in our community.
correct. That is correct.
That-
That's a good point.
I think the main idea and way you're going about it, I think, is things you need. I mean, we need to change education anyway. And so, along with that, you know, I would hope that we're all a big family anyway, right? And everybody wants to see everybody succeed. Then maybe like for those that look forward, not now, but we may want to shift some of that mentoring money that we're doing now, spending for just showing what their copiers, printing everything. This is a better investment of dollars, so it could be some shifts that way too. That'll help out, maybe that we can encompass more to help out. And it's just not 1 year, right? Those people will need help for the next 3 years.
Well, it's a growth pattern for sure.
Exactly.
I mean, there's no doubt about it, but
For the transition ones, especially.
Mr. Sims, is it possible that the assigned mentors could be a part of that day or that training
absolutely,
with them? I think that might go a long way.
absolutely,
Help train the trainer.
yeah. That can be done.
Is there a limit to how many people can be involved in that training?
Well, I think Mr. Circle can speak to that better than me, that I know for a fact that the email I received this morning was concerning the 4 that she mentioned, so, I don't know about outside that.
And if April has more time, we can add more.
Right.
The problem with, I see with our mentors, being our teachers, is the fact that they don't have the time to invest. Like, April's gonna be there all day.
Yeah.
And April's gonna be able to, she'll also provide, because we did this before, she'll also provide support, like if there's questions and things, instructionally, so. Classroom management.
Yes, speaking question.
So the CTE teachers also that are mentoring, we actually have to take a class, and we have to record everything we do with them. And so we actually have to take the class already. So just for FYI, we have to document a bunch of things that we go with them, how many hours we're spending with them. So yes, we do receive the $500, but I can tell you what we're required to do through Jim. I mean, just FYI.
It's a lot more.
It's not just what Delphi requires of us, but Jim requires something else.
And your evaluation, and your input also is a big part of it. I mean, it's a process, it really is. and it's really one that in that particular field alone is kind of way out there. I mean, it really is.
It's a different license.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's huge.
Any other questions? Okay, all in favor of 5M encompassing education for $12,600 from ESSER 3, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Alright, motion carries. Okay, 5N, renaming of the DCMS LMC to the Abby and Libby Memorial Library. Can I get a motion on the table for that?
Yeah, Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion to rename DCMS LMC to the Abby Libby Memorial Library.
Second.
I think Mr. Long has some information for us.
Yeah, it's pretty much what was in the admin report to you guys. After talking to some of the teachers and some community members, and then took it to our administration meeting, and we kind of came up with an idea in our leadership team of where you guys knew of the fund. We talked about that, I don't know how many months ago, but we were trying to look at some different things, maybe signage stuff, and it kind of, after talking, got an idea. The girls both really like to read. They were very skilled at reading, and so what a better way to memorialize them than renaming our library the Abby Libby Memorial Library. One of the things I really think is going to be really neat about this is the continuing of, if the board meetings are here, their name's going to get brought up quite a bit. The plan is then with that money, which is $5,800 and some change, I'd like to be able to keep that fund open and have open donations to come back to kind of refurbish the library. We're going to take the $5,000, and I already met with, I think it's Sharp. They're willing to let us purchase furniture at cost. Obviously we still got to pay for the freight, but the salesman at the word, Mr. Gary Allen, has said he would sell it to us at cost since it's for a good cause. So within that, he's putting together some different aspects of what we can do in here and make it more comfortable and more not as hard. So kids maybe can come in and relax and have maybe a little better environment to read in. And then the idea is then, as we move forward, then every year, have a middle school wide, fundraiser. So it'd be for the library, it'd be an Abby Libby Memorial Library fundraiser, to where then we can start to upgrade some of the things within here and to memorialize them. The other thing, so we're gonna try to use like $5,000 with the furniture. The $800 is to get some of the signage out that are, what are those called, Kevin? Castings, which are pretty expensive, but they'll be there forever, saying that this is the name of the library. I'm going to work with Leslie in getting some signage in here so that everybody knows where they're at. So that's kind of the plan with that. I wanted to make sure, went through the steps to make sure everybody's on board, because I really do believe this is a community effort. In that, so that's why I presented this to you guys, to make sure that everybody's on board with where this money goes, and also I think it's important that we memorialize them, and this I thought is a good place for it.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Okay. All in favor of 5N, renaming of the DCMS LMC to the Abby and Libby Memorial Library, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion carries. Moving through the alphabet, 5O. LMC Software Edition. Can I get a motion on the table for that?
I move we approve the LNC software edition, item 4.
Second.
All right, and I think Mr. Gear has some input on that as well.
Yes, yeah, a little background. So Follett, the company that does our library software for checking in and checking out books, reached out to us and said, we understand you're using your Chromebooks to check in and out for kids as well. And like, yeah, we have been doing that for 8 or 9, 10 years, however long we've been doing one-to-one. So I said, well, according to our software policy, that's not legal. So, or it's against our policy, it's against our policy. So they recommend they have this nice little resource manager module that we can use in addition to their library manager. So, getting the cost from that, and you can see on the side there, okay, they get the little piece of paper that I sent you?
Yeah, they got it.
Okay, so, so there's a local install and a hosted install, but while looking at that, we've also been looking at ticketing system, and we're able to, get a demo on one called Incident IQ that also encompasses resource management for us. So, but it also is also a ticketing system, that allows us, it's more than just resource management. The resource manager for Follett allows you to do the Chromebooks and sports equipment, I believe, is one of the options, and even the textbooks for classes. But that's all you can do. With this Instant IQ, anything that you can slap a label on, a barcode on, you can do. So they're totally unlimited devices, and unlimited options for us keeping track of anything in the resource manager on the installation IQ, the Instant IQ side, sorry. So, like I said, does ticketing, it's got built-in fee management as well, so if we have broken screens, broken devices, whatever, we charge them, we can put that in there as well, and then the school treasurers will have access to all this, so they can run reports on the monies that are coming through for repairs and things like that. And like I said, it also has a built-in knowledge-based system. Mr. Vogt here at the middle school does a great job of creating videos for us when teachers need help, and so he's created quite a library. And this will allow us to actually put all his videos into our library locally. So if a teacher does create a ticket, and they write the ticket, say, hey, I want to add a grade or something, I forgot to do a grade after grades have been posted, I want to do a grade change request. If they start typing that in, Mr. Vogt's video pops right up and, hey, try this. So it kind of takes us out of the realm of coming down every time somebody needs a request. They can do it themselves. So that's built into it as well. It's a little more expensive, but my recommendation is Instant IQ. I did notice what was missing on the approval was the installation cost of $1,525. So actually, the first year would be a $72.71 cost, and then the annual after that would be $57.46. So I want to make sure that's changed before you guys decide.
How many years is that for, annual renewal?
That's 1 year that's each year.
Right, but you said each year, that point after, right?
Yeah, so it's $57.46 for every year beyond that, the first year.
Is there a thing that says it'll stay at that cost for, I mean, it's a multi-year contract,
No, it's just
year by year,
Year
so.
by year, yeah.
Okay.
So, Mr. Year, am I hearing we need to change the $5,746
72,
to
71.
$72.71 for the first year on.
Let me to amend my
Yeah.
motion. Amending my motion to approval of LMC software edition, and we are going after number 1, Incident IQ, at a cost of $72.71 initial with $57.46 annual renewal.
Okay, we have a second on that. Was there any other question on, difference in software price? Reasoning?
What fund will this be coming out of again?
It comes out of Mr. Year's technology.
Okay, so that's fine.
Okay, all in favor of the LMC software edition of Incident IQ for $7,271 initially and $5,746 annually? Say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Alright, motion carries. 5P, the MOU, this is the last one of 5, with the Family Health Clinic of Delphi. Ms. Servo, do you have input on that?
Actually, we have Mrs. Stansberry.
Yeah.
She's the one who added P onto our agenda.
Sorry.
Oh,
I'll
sorry,
make it quick.
We don't have a
Yeah.
motion.
Yeah, we don't have a motion yet. Can we get a motion for the MOU for the Family Health
Second.
Alright,
Some of our students require, therapy as part of their IEP. The Family Health Clinic has been great with partnering with the elementary school through a grant. So we have a licensed social worker that's coming in 3 days a week. Unfortunately, the funding for that doesn't always get taken care of for every student. And, in order for some of our students with emotional difficulties to access the curriculum, they need to have some therapy services as part of their IEP. So it's a case-by-case basis that we'd like to have the opportunity to partner with them, and they've given us a fair rate for providing their services for some of our students who aren't having that paid for through Medicaid.
So, I really appreciate the partnership, a great location, great community partner. The thing that I'm questioning though is, do we need to worry about a total expense that we could have? Cause this is kinda open-ended, even though it's a very good rate. Should we have a cap in here as an MOU, or it just feels a little open-ended?
There's, it's for a very select amount of students, primarily that is funded through Medicaid, so there are only a few students receiving that service that aren't funded through Medicaid, so, it'll be, capped at a number of students that she can reasonably speak to, she's full. So, I would not anticipate that becoming an issue, and it's only through the end of this year. Because I think, some of our students will move to the middle school, and, she doesn't, and I think this grant is only through the rest of the year for her to be there for some students, so, we're talking a minimum amount of students of maybe 2 or 3 right now.
Are you saying we'll be doing something different next year?
Well, it depends on what kind of grant funding we have available, and who that partner is. I'm hoping that continues with the Family Health Clinic. That's something I believe the guidance department set up, or Mrs. Circle set up. In terms of
we didn't
kind
do
of
that.
the-
Yeah, we just found that out, we didn't qualify for that.
So we don't wanna keep that, open, and even in the IEPs, it'll be written as an end date at the end of this year, because if we can't provide the service, then we can't write it into their individualized education plan. And it's been impossible almost to find therapists that come to the area, so, we at least wanted to do this for a brief amount of time to make sure that a couple of students were able to, access their social skills curriculum through, having some other emotional outlets.
any other questions? Alright. All in favor of 5P, the MOU with the Family Health Clinic of Delphi, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Alright, motion carries. Alright, moving on to number 6, school board information. So we've got a lot of field trip information, a lot of things going on. So I'm not gonna read through everything, but we've got a lot of FFA events going on. There's the judging teams. We've got the police department that's been involved with some, actually that happened over the weekend, some testing and training. The band has several competitions coming up. We've got some field trips for Ag Day for, it looks to be fourth grade, the third grade, first grade, and the swimming team. They're all being involved in doing some things. The DCHS swimming at Crawfordsville High School, that's the swim meet, the sectional's coming up here, so that's one to put on your calendar if you're interested in helping cheer on those swimmers. Also, we have the DCHS dance team. They're going to go to Lake Central High School for an invitational. DCHS wrestling, the Logansport Regionals, that would be already over with. And then the last thing, DCHS boys swimming, the diving sectionals is 2/18, so that's not over with yet. Moving on to future dates. There's a DCMS and DCHS choir concert on February 15th at 7 o'clock, and that's in the little theater. February 17th, we have the DCMS Junior Honor Society induction ceremony. That is at 5:30 in the little theater. Don't forget, February 20th, we have a snow makeup day, that's Monday. We will be in session there. March 7th, we have a celebration of the arts. That's going on at the Opera House at 6:30 p.m. March 10th, there's a band dinner theater at 6 p.m. in the Commons. And then also March 13th is our regular board meeting at 7 p.m. here in the DCMS Abbey and Libby Memorial Library. Did I get that correct?
You got it.
I almost skipped that up on there. All right.
I do have a request that we add 2 items to the agenda for this meeting.
Okay.
First being, I want to ask for middle school soccer to be discussed and possibly voted on. And if needed, a work session prior to that meeting to talk about the possible issues around it. And then also like an electric bus cost analysis. We've now had it in use for, I believe, 2 full years. And I kind of like to know how we're doing on that, and what the costs are for corporations and or savings.
Okay.
If we can produce that. Thank you.
All right. So we'll get those moving forward for the next meeting, and then board comments tonight. Start with Mr. Schwarzkopf.
I guess it could take the whole time. I want to thank everybody for coming and sticking with us through our no policy updates and stuff. It's stuff we have to do. It's a protection for everybody, so appreciate everybody doing that. Again, I want to thank and congratulate, our, let me get to my notes here, our band ensembles and our choir ensembles, for all those who go for finer arts and participate in that. Sometimes they may not realize it until later in their years about what that meant, and just to take on those things. Again, Kate, guys, I'm gonna leave some things here for you guys to do. But our retirees, we have Diane Etching, that's been here for over 35 years. I'll leave somebody else out, because I don't think she should be retiring yet. She's not watching, so. I do want to thank everybody for, what we're doing, and the memorial for Abby and Libby. It may be time to circle back down to Jim Ursay, since we've done this, and maybe he can help out a little bit more. So, with that, thank you.
All right. Mr. Priest.
Zach did a good job, nice job of workout for the first show by yourself. It was a long one. I'd like to thank the visitors, Mrs. Circle, for all the work she did on the Neola policies. That's a lot of work. Up to there were Mr. Sims for the CTE, or CTE information, that was very good. I'd like to wish all the juniors on March 2nd good luck on the SAT test. I know that's a big deal. And I noticed too, there are field trips and school activities are filling up, and I'd like to thank all the teachers and support staff, bus drivers that have a hand in helping them out for all the extra. They're often unappreciated. I appreciate it.
Mr. Strasser.
I have no additional comments, other than my fellow board members.
All right. Mr. Miller.
Well, I'd like to recognize Mrs. Edging and Mrs. Schwarzkopf, I'll say that. And I'd like to thank Mrs. Bigler for all the work that she's doing with CTE program, and Kevin also. Also, I'd like to recognize the girls' basketball team this season. I think they did a very good job. I mean, it's been really tough for those girls. Is this the 3rd or 4th head coach they've had? I mean, they've had to adjust to a new coach every year, and I kind of relate to that way back when, how that adjustment happens, and they still had a pretty successful season, even though they didn't end up as good in the sectional as they wanted to. I, just like to recognize them, and I'd like to thank everyone else for attending the meeting tonight also. Thank you.
Mr. Smith?
I also want to acknowledge the people here this evening that stayed for the duration of this meeting. We do appreciate community input at all times and the feedback that we get. I want to point out the CTE program. Ashton Batted, it did a fantastic job. You could tell the enthusiasm, excitement that he has, and I love that because obviously we know where he's headed in the future. He's got a career path ahead of him. Jaden Kloppenstein, same thing. You know, it's so great that they are so excited at this age of what they're going to be doing in the future. So, great program. I always love seeing the students here presenting. Congratulations to the band and choir recognitions. Cade Nelson for the Region 4 All-Star recognition. Girls swim team, 4 broken records this year. That's fantastic. I don't know when we've had that many in any season for a long time, so we wish them well at sectionals. And for Diane Edging, Lori Schwarzkopf, you know, what a mark they've left on this school, the lives that they've touched, the number of students. I don't suppose either one of them has a clue on the numbers, but they surely get those kids that show up that they don't recognize anymore that want to thank them for being their teacher in elementary school and how great they were. So we're going to miss them. Thank you.
Mr. Meyer?
Just real quick, 2 things. CTE is very important. We need to make sure that kids are enthused and make sure that we're promoting it because definitely not everyone is made out to go to college. So the more we can promote and get the enthusiasm out, the better. Diane and Lori, gonna be tough to replace. So congratulations on great careers, and we're sorry we're losing. And then lastly, great thing to rename this library to the Abbey and Libby Memorial Library. So it's good when we can do things that are good for the community. So that's all. Thank you.
A lot of things we spoke about. I will start with our 2 retirees. It's great to actually have someone retire of 30 plus years at the same place. So I'm going to challenge our teachers to stick it out, make it a 35-year career at one place. I know there's a lot of people that have done it. I know there's a lot of people that can't stay for 2 years at any place, but I think the reward is well worth it, and those teachers will probably tell you all about it. Also, just thank everybody for maybe the pain we put you through tonight, but these things needed updated, and we've got a lot to do with that. So I thank Mrs. Circle and everybody that's helped her on that. Obviously, we go unnoticed telling people how much we thank them for the work they put into these things. So, and naturally, we don't even see the work that goes into it. So I just want to thank those people, and just wish everybody a happy snow day on Monday because we're going to school. So with that, I just need one more motion. That's for adjournment.
I move to adjourn.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?